my shit.
I know it is. We live. You cursing already?
Hey, man. Talking about Michael Jackson. MJ. Feel me?
Yeah.
Came here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, we live, you know. We came here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, the sports show.
Yeah.
Yo, the black and gold thing, is that because of the Hurt Business? Is that what that's about?
No. We had our 50th episode. You know, that was the golden episode, and then I kept it because I like it. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what's with the maple leaves all over it?
I don't know. I was about to change that because it was the only background. Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's not fall anymore. So
I'm just saying. No, we're just not.
There we
Canadian.
go. We're good. We're good now, right? We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. All black. I'm not. Oh, Canada.
All great things come from Brooklyn. Okay.
Yes. So you wanted me to put like Tim's in the background and everything like that, right?
Yes. You should have Fulton and Flatlands or something just high up there. That's what you need to do.
Fulton Street is different now.
Yeah, I heard.
So's Nostrand and Franklin Ave.
That's okay, because in a couple months, Eastern Parkway is gonna be lit. That's what's gonna happen. Eastern Parkway is gonna be lit. We're gonna have the biggest parade. We ain't going to worry about Labor Day no more.
We're gonna talk about that later on. But welcome to another episode 58 of the Yerrr Sports Show. I'm your host, Big Baby, aka the soul of R&B. And to my right, we have
the only one that came and showed up for work that was here on time. Yes, I'm saying.
Don't
start. Don't bring it in, Dre. Don't bring it in.
No, because she kicked us out. No, she
twice last week.
She kicked y'all out. She kicked y'all out.
No, see, Dre, don't let her in.
And
she should have been here on time. Don't let her in.
Introducing the queen.
No, don't.
The queen. The reigning, defending, undisputed champion of the Yerrr Sports Show.
We are in a whole nother level of pick fives. Stop bringing up old stuff.
The queen.
Stop.
Queen Tay.
Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday.
Going on? Happy Saturday, Queen. Happy Saturday, Queen.
Thank you.
Just in time.
You're about to start talking a whole bunch of crap, huh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have the most attendance. Let me tell you something. Don't play with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have the most attendance out of all of us, apart from Dre.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, me and Tay have only been gone for one show.
Okay, Gretchen and Randall from Recess. Can we move on?
I'm sorry, load management.
Look, first of all, let's not. We're not going to do that. This is like I be having stuff going on, and sometimes it be out of my control. It's not even my fault. Y'all understand what I have to go through. Don't be putting me out on Front Street like y'all don't be knowing.
Then don't talk about people when he's not on the camera.
I wasn't talking about her. I'm just saying. She was. I mean.
Anyway, before
I ain't saying no names.
Before the grave digger keeps digging his own grave, we the voice of generation, Pete Rosado, is on load management. He's out of here today, but still gonna keep the ball rolling.
No sermons.
How was your? No, we have a sermon. No, we have a sermon. We have a sermon for him.
I already had my money ready for this Easter Sunday.
For the pastor. Pastor Paragon Rosado.
I mean, I thought we was gonna have to donate to the building fund.
Before I get it, the worst, bro. Before we get into how I asked you guys they were, I just want to give again a big shout out to Tay. Tea Time was amazing last week. It's been one of our best shows.
I had more to say on that show too,
so far. But there will be another Tea Time coming up soon. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. But again,
you gonna bring Sam and Lulu too?
What?
You gonna bring them back?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yes, they were.
Cool.
Definitely shouts to Sam and Lulu for being on. Definitely appreciate it. Again, Tay, that was amazing. One of our best shows under the newly branded Yerrr Sports Show network. Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff coming soon. So
wait till I bring my section back, right? I'm bringing all the people from the hood, right? We just gonna have a bunch of people screaming "woo" and "Yerrr" for no reason. Just
speaking of, shouts to Law and 2.5 Bros and the rest of the Java Chance Network.
What's up, bro?
Yo, Lawrence, I got 2 gripes with Lawrence.
Law.
What did he do?
One, he spams everybody with his promo. I look on my notifications, and it's like 36 notifications. And I thought to I was like, you know what? Lord tagged me in some things.
Y'all really are a team. It's you and Shantice. Y'all really are a team.
And secondly, he knows he was supposed to get me my gift cards, and I'm still waiting for them.
He spoke to me about that yesterday. He said he just got you.
He didn't speak to me.
But he said but he was telling me he just got you.
He didn't speak to me.
Sorry, Law. I tried. Showing me.
Well, other than that, how was you guys' week?
I'm tired.
It's all right. It's all right.
And I got my babies knocking on the door. Daddy.
Hell, we're bored.
Help, Daddy.
No, I think they just want the remote.
I got you. My week was pretty good. This is probably one of the first weeks I've been like at work the whole week in a while.
Great dollars.
Yeah, you and me both.
And it's been cool. Easter week is always crazy because everybody's decided to travel, and we're using like the biggest plane imaginable to go to LA, and then the planes are completely full. 300-seater plane to LA is full.
It's crazy because a couple of weeks ago, because I was booking travel this week for an upcoming thing, and 3 weeks ago, round trip flights were $110.
I know.
And then
like 5.
400 one way. Yeah, I believe it when I see it, brother. But now I paid almost $700 for my round trip flight, and I didn't even get a chance to do first class like I wanted to again. So now
you really taking this queen thing to a whole nother level, aren't you?
Oh, bro, I fly first.
While us peasants got to drive the 17 hours. But it's all right.
Don't say us peasants, because if I was going, I'd be flying first too. But as Matt say, don't let the fact get in the way of a good story, right?
Yeah.
So
hit up Mr. Black. That got to be a shirt.
Yeah, I can make the shirt for you. I got you. I got shirts for both of y'all coming up soon.
I gotta have my face on the shirt like Wilkins saying, all
right.
No, yours should be like coronavirus.
I don't even know where it came from.
I gotta go back and screenshot this and then put that on the show.
Yeah, me and my daughter, we found that to be the funniest thing ever.
I was so aggravated, and I was right, by the way. I was right.
Yeah, you were 110% right for that.
Oh my God. It was a good match. It was just why. What was the good match got overshadowed by the little sparklers, the Gilbert sparkler system.
Yeah, but
because that's all I was saying, Gilbert.
But we do not have the pastor with us today, but he still graced us with quick hits. So let's get into it.
Everybody, I am the voice of a generation, the Professor Pete Rosado, and these are your Yerrr Sports Show quick hits for the week of April the 3rd, and let's start in the NCAA. While everyone is so concerned with who's going to win the Final Four and go to the NCAA title game, we got big news on April the 1st. Many thought an April Fool's joke, as longtime head coach of UNC, Roy Williams, retired on Friday. Spent 18 years at the University of North Carolina, compiling a record of 485 wins to only 163 losses, bringing 3 NCAA championships to the University of North Carolina in 2005, 2009, and most recently in 2017. Unfortunately, suffered a first-round loss to Wisconsin this year, his only first-round loss exit in 30 appearances in the NCAA tournament. Prior to being at UNC, Coach Williams spent 15 years at the University of Kansas, where he went to 4 Final Fours, compiling a record of 418 wins to 167 losses. 4th all-time in Division I total wins, 903, a almost 77% winning percentage for Coach Roy Williams, and the only coach in NCAA history to have 400 wins with 2 different schools. Has had 21 players taken in the first round of the NBA draft, behind only Coach Calipari and Coach K. All in all, 9 total Final Fours, 3 NCAA championships, and almost 90 total NCAA tournament wins in over 30 years of coaching. For Roy Williams, the NCAA definitely losing one of the greatest coaches of all time.
I just want to pause this real quick, right?
Yo, he got the bang.
The bang. The bang. Not the banging. The banging.
And for,
not the banging.
Oh my gosh. I wish I had. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find something where somebody played the video and we're gonna do like how ESPN has it and just have circle it, everything like that.
I'm happy for my man though, bro. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him, clearly. My man is happy, boy. What?
Tay's singing the Bang song and she's on mute. I think the world needs to hear this.
Not the banging. The banging.
Oh man.
See, and this is why P is like, I hate y'all, Brooklyn.
I hate y'all. All right.
Going on, though, to Kansas, Bill Self has gotten a lifetime contract. Bill Self taking over for Coach Roy Williams after he left Kansas. Bill Self given a 5-year rolling contract extension would take place after this year, but with a rolling contract, 1 year will be added on to the life of the contract as long as Kansas and Bill Self want. Since 2003, Bill Self has led Kansas to an NCAA championship in 2008 and 14 consecutive Big 12 titles between 2005 and 2018. Now going to the Final Four, men and women's. We saw in the women's Final Four, Arizona with a shocker defeats the number 1 powerhouse UConn Lady Huskies to advance to the NCAA Women's Championship, and Stanford defeats fellow number 1 seed South Carolina in a nail-biter. So that means the women's championship game will be Arizona versus Stanford to see who becomes the 2020-2021 NCAA Women's Champion. While on the men's side, the Final Four taking place later today as Houston, number 2 seed Houston, will take on number 1 seed Baylor, and number 11 seed, the Cinderella, UCLA, will be going one-on-one against 1 seed Gonzaga. 2 of these 4 teams will go to the NCAA Men's Championship on Monday night. Who will
unmute it? We have to unmute it, bro.
My bad. So I call her Paige Buckets, but she Paige, I forget her last name, but she's the freshman on UConn, and she just won the AP Women's College Player of the Year.
She got a gun. She got a gun.
And she's the first freshman to ever win that award, and she's also the 12th UConn women's Husky to win that award. So, shout out to her.
I can't believe I was shocked to see, that upset last night.
I was, and it's something You notice? I don't know if we've ever spoke about this, but you know the one and done rule in the NBA, right? There is no one and done rule for the WNBA.
Yeah, but granted, I mean, if it was a best of 3 or 5 or 7, right? I feel like they would have never beat UConn because UConn has been killing.
UConn just happened to be off. UConn just happened to be off that day.
Yeah.
Let's continue with quick hits.
Would be I've got money on Baylor and UCLA. Who do you got? I got to know Dre, Tay, Matt. Who do you got? Matt already thought UCLA was going to lose to Michigan, so UCLA being here already a big bracket buster for him.
That's tough.
Going from NCAA to the primetime NBA Association.
Pause them. First off, we're not going to talk about the AP Coach of the Year, freaking Juwan Howard like that. Michigan was upset. I'm mad about it, but I am going. It was upsetting. I felt like Michigan had all the pieces to go to the, get to the dance. It happens. I'm mad about it. I can't do nothing about it. But Pete, go to hell. I know what that was about. Go to hell. Go ahead, play him. Go to hell, though, Pete.
Everyone's heard the story about this time about Kevin Durant in the exchange with Michael Rappaport in the DMs. And Durant was fined by the NBA $50,000 for using, quote, offensive and derogatory language on social media. We will talk about that more later on the Yerrr Sports Show today. Moving on to the NFL, the big news.
Because it's in the rundown. He saw it.
He saw the rundown. You got to press play.
Coming out of this week, NFL owners and the Players Association both agreed to approve the expansion of the season. That's right. In 2021, the NFL will go to a 17-game regular season. The preseason will be dropped from 4 games to 3 games, as the collective bargaining agreement still says the total amount of season games needs to be a total of 20, meaning that they will have 17 regular season, 3 preseason games. But what's not a unanimous vote? Many players have spoken out. Alvin Kamara and others have spoken about the expansion being a negative thing and something they don't agree with. And the Chicago Bears, I gotta say, I stand with them on this one, voted against moving the season to 17 regular season games. Personally, I think 16 is enough. I think you should lessen the offseason, maybe give players a little bit more time to not get injured, but have some mini camps and workouts, things like that. Give them things they need in the offseason rather than expanding the regular season. But again, this is a revenue thing for the NFL. What do you think? I'd love to hear what Dre, Tay, and Matt, what do you think about the expansion to 17 games by the NFL? And lastly, the big thing, baseball.
What do you say, Tay? Tay.
You on mute.
Not like that.
He wants to know what I think. I think it's only an extra game. What's an extra week? If they don't, I mean, you act like we pay attention to who's all on the field. I mean, some can play, some can't. Some get injured. You're still gonna get paid, regardless if you play or not. So I mean,
well, hold on more to those feelings because we will be talking about that right after quick hits.
Is back, thank God. I've been waiting, and a full season starting for baseball fans everywhere. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, baseball is back, and we have the big news for the Mets. Francisco Lindor, the star shortstop that they acquired this year in a trade with the Cleveland Indians, they have signed to a 10-year, $341 million extension, the largest ever contract for a shortstop, and the third largest contract for a position player behind only Mike Trout and Mookie Betts. He actually passed Fernando Tatis Jr., who received the third largest contract earlier in the offseason by $1 million. He'll be making $341 million to $340 for Tatis. Over 6 seasons in Cleveland, Francisco Lindor won 2 Gold Gloves and had an average of .285, 29 home runs, 86 RBIs, and 21 steals on average in his 6 seasons and now will be a New York Met for the next 11 years. He did sign a 1-year arbitration contract with the Mets for this year, and you will have a 10-year contract tacked on to the end of that. Wonder what the big thing is there, Lindor, big contract, but not all good news for the Mets. The Mets will lose their home opener this week, as their home opening game with the Washington Nationals was postponed due to COVID-related issues. The Nationals had five players and a staff member in quarantine due to contact tracing, but fallout from this COVID-19 outbreak with the Washington Nationals now has 4 players that tested positive for COVID-19. The entire series between the New York Mets and the Washington Nationals this weekend has been postponed, meaning the first 3 games, the first opening homestand for the Mets has been postponed. They will now open their season on the road against the Philadelphia Phillies on Monday next week, losing their opening homestand. The Yankees at home against the Blue Jays, and they lost the first game of the homestand. Second game for them happening today on Saturday. They'll play a third game on Sunday. But baseball is back. A big season ahead of us. Full season, not a shortened season. Back to kind of normal. We saw over 10,000 fans at Yankee Stadium, 20% of stadium capacity for that first game. We're seeing fans being let back in across the country in different amounts. It's going to be good to see how this changes, and as the weather gets warmer, and hopefully as COVID-19 starts to get beat more and more, how the fans change in the stands for MLB games. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been your Yerrr Sports Show Quick Hits for the week of April the 3rd.
Thank you, Pete, for quick hits. Thank you. Another thing that was brought up is that the MLB All-Star Game has moved from Georgia due to the new voting laws, quote unquote. For those who don't know about the voting law, just some a few quick kind of
quick hits.
Some quick hits from the new voting law. Voters will now have less time to request absentee ballots. There are strict new ID requirements for absentee ballots. Drop boxes still exist, but not really.
You can't give voters anything to eat or drink while they're waiting long hours. It's definitely a they're looking to kind of tighten up certain things. Mm-hmm. It's really political. So
prison minded.
Yeah.
Say what I said.
Yeah, and a lot of people are trying to move the events outside of Georgia because these laws seem very unethical, and you know who is targeting people like us.
Yeah, because we be hungry. Can't say.
All right,
I be hungry. I can't be hungry if I'm waiting on the line for 4 hours. Brother needs something to eat.
Wouldn't the fuel of knowing that your ancestors fought like hell to get this right, that should be fulfilling enough? So
yeah,
eat before you get there.
Right.
That wouldn't be smart, because then what if I gotta use the bathroom?
Eat before you get there. Eat when you get home. Next.
Well, let's get into today's topic.
Some be making you want to electric slide sometimes.
So as Peter discussed earlier in Quick Hits, the NFL is expanding to 17 games. How do you think this is going to affect the league? Matt, I will start with you.
Well, I'm trying to understand, why is it such a big deal? It's just an extra week. I really don't get why is everybody making a big deal. It's one extra week. Like, if you don't want to play, don't play. Fake an injury. Say something. It's not that big of a deal. I don't understand why everybody's making this like a topic. You got an extra week of football. A lot of y'all get all like emotional when football is over with anyway. So I'm not understanding why is this even a topic sometimes. Like, they've been talking about this all week. Like, they added an extra week. Some players are upset about it. Why are you upset? You making millions of dollars. Play football. which is supposed to be a sport that you love. I don't get it. I'm trying to understand why we up in arms. Some of y'all need deodorant. It's stupid. This whole thing is, I'm not understanding why y'all mad that y'all got to get an extra week of a paycheck. It's dumb. This is it's not even worth really talking about. An extra week of football. Everybody should be happy. Everybody should be happy.
What it does is it kind of pushes the Super Bowl back a week.
I'm cool with that.
I mean, I think that this is the way of the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to give, I mean, granted, I think it's going to make the playoff percentage, the teams that get into the playoffs, I think what it's going to do is you could have a lower game winning percentage and still have a higher chance of making the first round, the wild card round, right? Hey. But like you said, I'm in agreement. Like, what's one more week? I think personally that it should start a week earlier than end a week later.
That's probably what they're going to do. Or they're probably just going to, like, take the extra week off the preseason.
Yeah, that's what I heard Jay said.
It's not, like I said, I don't feel like it's that deep that everybody's so, half-winded with it. Like, they don't understand why they got to add an extra week. You're getting paid. If you don't want to play, don't play. Again, it's not like the NBA where it's like name notoriety. People come to see that player play. Mm-hmm. NFL is the epitome of a team sport in a sense. A lot of the players that are playing, half of them, none of us know. Unless you're a star or you're that effective on the field, a lot of us won't know who you are. That's just real. I mean, take the paycheck. That's extra TV money in your pocket. What are you mad about?
I think it's extra TV money, not extra money. Now, mind you, the addition of another game kind of lowers your per week check.
Yeah.
But you do get a chance to have that one extra week of streaming. So, yeah. I mean, it's time. Like, you should be, I hate when I say people should be grateful, whatever, but I feel like we are in a time where you want to super serve content.
Sure,
and with the NFL, sometimes the NFL season to me goes by in such a blur that it's like next thing I know, it's like my team, you're at week 6, and next thing I know, like it's wild card time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so give us a chance to, I think they should expand it to 18 weeks. Me personally.
Yeah, I think the deal with the collective bargaining agreement was to have 20 games played in general.
No, agreed. No, I'm just saying. So, I'm like,
yeah. So
I feel like the football season lasts too short for me as a fan. You get what I'm saying? I want to see it as much as possible. I'd rather see an extra week of football than that Pro Bowl.
Facts.
Yeah,
I don't even be watching that. That's the crazy. I don't watch the Pro Bowl.
Me either.
I watch the whole NFL season and I watch.
We get on the All-Star game. The Pro Bowl is like just as bad sometimes. Right? Like,
yeah. I mean, like even with baseball, I don't even really watch the All-Star game like that.
I just watch the Derby.
Yeah,
but the baseball one has more to fight for, which is why that's the most competitive of the All-Star games. That one in the NHL. But in terms of the extra week, this changes a lot in terms of teams that, oh man, I'm not going to make the playoffs because I needed to win this last week, to now I have another chance to get into the wild card or to place myself at a higher seed because of that extra week. So I just put a post up. There's no more 7 and 9s, but all right, now someone's going to be 8 and 9. That can put you in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I said.
A 10 and 7 can put you in the playoffs. Like, it's so much different things. Yes, it's more revenue for the NFL as a whole because it's an extra day of football, extra week of football. But
extra 2 days, huh? Like 2 or 3 days, huh? Still Thursday, Monday,
Thursday. Yeah, extra 3 days of football. The only thing you look at veteran players like a Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers and or JJ Watt, and do you sit those players that extra week? Or
Nah,
sitting them
trying to get
extra
playoff
2 weeks?
contention.
It depends on where they sit. And I'm talking about it depends.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on where the team sits.
Right.
Now, if this is for the AFC, NFC East division, if this is for the division championships, no.
Right.
If this is for a wild card to get into the playoffs, no.
Mm-hmm.
But if your place is already secured, yes.
It's more or less long-term thinking, though. It's like extra TV revenue means your salary goes up eventually. So when you start trying to renegotiate your deal, you're gonna get probably like a good bump in your salary. So,
and it also depends on which games we get a chance to see.
That's a fact.
You know, because sometimes the Thursday night football games are kind of corny. It's like I don't want to see
Christmas.
I don't
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, every time the Lions play on Thanksgiving, like they always.
I still don't get that. I still don't understand that.
I don't understand. Do they?
There was one time the Lions were really entertaining on Thanksgiving, and I don't think it's been in a while. Actually, shout out to Galladay, who's now a Giant.
Yes, shout out to Mr. Galladay, who designed a very nice deal for the Giants and gives Daniel Jones another weapon to throw it to.
Yeah.
I believe they just lost Tate, right? Or they're going to lose Tate.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't working out for him there anyway, but
because he always got lost in the shuffle. You know, when he was on the field, he was effective.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there were so many opportunities for him to have been more effective on the Giants. You get what I'm saying? Like, than they allowed him to be. I feel like when he was good, he was great. And when he wasn't so great, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
It's like they would throw it to Ingram while Tate was free. That's what I see sometimes. But anyway.
Yeah, Ingram would be at first down and Tate would be wide open at the touchdown like this. It's like, but we digress. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers, right? This has been a controversy starting back from 2009, 2010, in terms of citing players on quote-unquote star players on veteran minimum deals after they are bought out, or teams forcing trades as if like James Harden did. Apparently, an anonymous small market GM said,
probably from Milwaukee.
No, they just signed Giannis to a lucrative how many year deal? That's for them.
Giannis. Yesterday he went like 47 points or 42 points, and he was the second player ever to go perfect in 2-point field goals.
Yeah, that's cute. I want to see that.
Was it Wilt? Was it Wilt that did it first? Because it sounds like a Wilt thing. But like when anything comes up, it sounds like a Wilt thing.
Yeah, still it sounds cute. I want to see him doing the playoffs.
We want to see a lot this playoffs. I don't think we're going to get everything we want.
I feel like this playoffs is going to be lit. I don't care what nobody says. I feel like it's really going to be lit.
So too.
Especially in the West.
Go ahead, Dre.
So it says, the GM says you shouldn't be adding to your team this late in the season without having to give up anything. Basically,
Milwaukee. Definitely sounds like Milwaukee. Basically,
Blake and LA were signed for veteran minimum deals to go on a powerhouse Brooklyn Nets team. Andre Drummond was signed to go on a weekend, but still powerhouse Lakers team. These type of things are felt around the league that it shouldn't happen. I'm like 50-50 on it. Players should be able to go wherever they want to go. But my thoughts to you, my question to you, Tay, what are your thoughts on the buyout market and NBA player freedom in general? And what do you think should be done about this buyout market stuff?
Now, I agree with the executive who said that. Because now when you look at it, right, it kind of kills competition and it puts pressure on really good players to join really good super teams instead of planting their roots with a above average team and taking them to the next level. Because all these teams are teaming up on the coast. It's as if it's like this it's short-term gains, short-term, implication, short-term gains for long-term implications. You get what I'm saying? And I do not agree with. I never really liked the super team ideas. I didn't like it when LeBron did it in Miami. I didn't even really like it when Ray Allen and KG went to the Celtics. Even though I felt like that time it wasn't as bad because the Lakers were just as competitive. You get what I'm saying? That finals could have gone either way. But I've never been a fan of super teams because I feel like it kind of takes out the excitement for me to watch the playoffs and to see who may win and see who may not win. But I definitely feel as if like these top players, like these teams should not be making these moves so close to the playoffs. You get what I'm saying? And basically not paying for it. Like, look what the Knicks had to do to get Carmelo 10 years ago. You get what I'm saying? Even though they could have waited and got him in free agency in the summer. You get what I'm saying? But they traded away half the damn team just for Melo. I feel like when these teams are trading away their veterans who still make a difference in the playoffs, you get what I'm saying? These other super teams can't be getting them for pennies. I think it's trash. Me personally. And I would feel that way if I were a Brooklyn Nets fan or not. Because then you're always going to have the asterisk next to your championship. It's like you had to get all the top tier talent to help you win a championship. I think it's trash. Always did.
Matt, as a half Knick, half Net fan, what is your thoughts on this?
I'm with Tay. I don't really like the whole format of super teams. I've never did. As far as the asterisks by the team's name, I really don't feel like that applies anymore for some reason. It didn't apply. It didn't apply when the Celtics did it. It didn't apply when the Heat did it.
It did though.
It really didn't because
remember the first year. You remember when Dallas beat them?
But look at what Dallas did the buyout market thing too. Look at that team.
Not really that year.
Tyson Chandler, Jason Kidd, they were in the buyout market.
Let me tell you something.
Jason Kidd got traded there.
They loaded up.
But
they loaded up on veterans.
I get what you're trying to say though.
But they loaded up on soup. But I'm talking about the Heat. You weren't supposed to beat Bosh, Wade, LeBron in the playoffs like that.
And Mike Miller, Udonis Haslem, and Jason Williams.
I'm talking about superstars right now.
That's what I'm talking about. They had superstars on that team. That's what I'm saying.
Udonis Haslem is not a superstar.
I'm not talking about Udonis Haslem. I'm talking about stars that was on. Mike Miller was a star. He's an all-star. What are you talking about?
Mike Miller is not a superstar. NBA.
He's not a superstar, but he was a star.
That's what I said.
But that's what I'm saying. Loading up on stars. That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about. But the thing is, I can't compare like somebody like a Mike Miller to.
I'm saying loading up on veterans.
Hold on, it's a difference. It's a difference because it's the caliber of veteran talent. Because Mike Miller was Udonis Haslem and them. They were veterans, but they're not the Blake Griffin type of veterans who were the faces of franchises. You get what I'm saying? That, to me, that's a little bit different. Jason Kidd was a face of two different franchises before going to the Dallas Mavericks back then. But the thing is, I feel like the super team of Wade, Bosh, and James, the now super team of Durant, Kyrie, and Harden, they far superseded what the Celtics tried to do in 08.
100%.
You get what I'm saying? I feel like it has turned, to me, the competitiveness of the professional sport of basketball on its head. Because I don't even consider the Golden State Warriors a super team. I thought that they had two superstars on their team. Like, they didn't need KD to win the championship.
They didn't.
You know what I'm saying? He needed them more for that championship than vice versa.
Real talk. Kevin Durant replaced Harrison Barnes. I think that needs to be noted.
Son, how? In what world? In what world?
In the NBA.
That really
in the NBA.
So
getting these caliber players in exchange for nothing.
Like I said, I 100% agree. I never really got along with the super team thing, but my energy now and the reason why I get at a lot of fans now that feel a way about the Brooklyn Nets is mainly because a lot of these people that I'm arguing with were diehard Miami Heat fans a couple years ago. And I'm sitting here like, this is not right. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, shut up. We partying in South Beach. You ain't never been to South Beach. A couple years before that, you was a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. If y'all didn't agree, if y'all was okay with it then, I don't want to hear nothing now that we are lit in Flatbush, in Bed-Stuy, in Brownsville, in Canarsie, in East New York. I don't want to hear nothing. I feel like the borough deserves this. New York hasn't been able to cheer about nothing for a while now. So if I'm going to sit here and enjoy this while it lasts, because I got tired of seeing everybody else partying in LA, and I like the Lakers. Don't get me wrong, I like the Lakers. I got tired of seeing the Lakers win a championship. I got tired of Miami winning the championship. I got tired of Golden State winning the championship. Even though Golden State is entertaining to watch, they've been entertaining to watch, right? I got tired of all these other cities winning, and New York has been in ground zero for like the last half a century. Like it's bad. Like I need something to like, wow, like finally there's something going on in New York to be excited about. And it's not just Brooklyn. The Knicks are something to be excited about right now too, because they're playing good. So it's like I get what the small market GMs are saying, and I agree with them. I'm just not I'm gonna keep the same energy. I've always kept the same energy when it comes to these super teams. I don't like it. I can't stand it. I don't like the level of the level of competition is nowhere close to what it was in 02 and 03 when Kobe and the Sacramento Kings was going at each other with Shaq. You know, like we're a long way from there. And remember how those rivalries was. Now the biggest rivalry right now is Brooklyn and the Lakers, and it's only because they're the two favorites to be in the finals.
Right. To me, there's no fierce rivalries that makes me emotionally invested into some of these series. And exactly. I think that's why people still marvel about 90s basketball, late 80s basketball, early 2000 basketball, because, you know, Kobe and Shaq were the villains.
Yeah.
No matter what. And even if you were a Lakers fan or you weren't, you want to see which tandem or which team has that mentality to beat them. And it got nasty, it got personal, it got ridiculous.
And they didn't have it that easy because they ran up against that Sacramento team. They ran up against that Spurs team.
That Sacramento team deserved to win that. I felt that the Sacramento team should have won that series. And it was because of cheating why they didn't.
And that Dallas team, you forget that Dallas team was formidable too.
That's potentially a championship in Sacramento. I don't think the Eastern Conference team was going to beat them.
The refs cheated, okay? And that was proven. So it's like, but you see, those are grudge match type of things. Right now, I feel as if, you know, right, it's like, okay, Dre, you know, we good friends. We played on Team USA together. All right, Matt. You know, we always wanted to play together. Let's go get this championship. Ha ha ha. Instead of saying, yo, Dre, I hate that you playing for the Miami Heat. You know what? I'm gonna make you pay for playing for the Miami Heat and get my championship. That's true competitiveness.
I hear you, and I know I get a lot of slack because I get a lot of slack because I big up Damian Lillard, but that's one of the main reasons why I'm such a Damian Lillard fan. Dude. And because he's staying loyal to that small market, and he's making that market formidable.
Yeah,
he's making them real formidable, and he has been for a while. And he stayed loyal to that team. So it's like I know a lot of people are like, well, what has he done? You know, where did he didn't get to the Western Conference Finals? He didn't get to the finals. He barely gets up the first round sometimes. But look at the teams that he's went up against.
Exactly, and look at
the teams that he's went up against. Like. Get that man his respect. He's literally like number 2 in MVP for me right now.
And there's one thing that we're not looking at that's also a big factor. You know what's crazy? We all know about Shaq and the Fool. We watch it. It's funny. It's cute. But basketball fans are fickle. Justice Fickle is wrestling fan sometimes.
Not worse than him, though.
Not worse, but sometimes just as. When you look at players like a Blake Griffin, like a LaMarcus Aldridge, I'm not going to say Drummond, because Drummond was balling. He got sacked because Cleveland got 30 centers. Whatever. But Blake and LaMarcus Aldridge, these two I want to pinpoint. Blake got to Detroit. He was hurt. He was labeled a bum. Boom. The Spurs spurring it up. And LaMarcus Aldridge gets hurt a few times. He's labeled a bum, right? So with him being labeled a bum, there's this vision of the players already. So now these small market teams aren't even looking at them at the moment. But when these players go to large market teams, they're like, oh no, it's cheating. Y'all didn't put any value into these players until they went to the bigger teams. So as a GM, that's on you too. If you're not pushing to get these players, I'm not saying all 30 GMs are doing it, but a large amount of GMs are very likely looking at what Blake did in Detroit and what LaMarcus Aldridge did his last part of San Antonio, and like, he can't do nothing for us. But Brooklyn's like, no, you can do something for us. Come play.
Don't get me wrong. I feel like out of the two that you just listed, LaMarcus Aldridge is more of an asset than Blake Griffin is. Let's be clear. I feel like he's a big body. He can play with his back to the basket. He couldn't go in the post, and he can still hit jump shots. Mm-hmm. And that mid range is solid. Where Blake is, So and you need that. You need that extra help to like where they have to play 1-on-1 with a Kyrie or James Harden or Kevin Durant, because if you leave LaMarcus Aldridge, he can hit a three in the corner. He can back to the basket and get in the lane. He does rebound, and he can play defense. I'm not saying he's a great defender, but he can play defense, which is what everybody was saying. Oh, the Nets need depth, and they need defense. So they go get it, and now everybody's up in arms about it. Like, I don't understand.
I don't think.
Because they got it for nothing.
Right.
Because they got it. They didn't have to sacrifice anything to get what they needed, which to me kills the. David Stern is rolling over in his grave over this.
He would have vetoed that Harding trade quick, probably. Yeah. Bro. Yes. He vetoed less, bro.
Honestly,
like, come on.
He vetoed
you said no? Come on, bro.
He vetoed the Chris Paul trade because he was part on the league part on the Hornets at the time. That's the only reason why he vetoed that trade. Other than that, he would have had no control in that.
He'd have vetoed this James Harden trade, and he would have fined James Harden. He would have fined James Harden for how he was acting to get out of there. And he probably would have fined Brooklyn for Brooklyn had nothing to do with that, but Brooklyn would have got fined. Yeah, it could have been some tampering. You know,
gotta prove it.
You know how the NBA do.
I don't even feel like this.
You gotta prove it, but
I don't feel like this Brooklyn, this type of Brooklyn Nets is reflecting of the Brooklyn I grew up in and the Brooklyn that I love. So I don't feel a personal affinity or attachment to it at all. Like last year, the only reason why I rooted for the Lakers to win is because of Kobe. Nothing else. Because I don't think I've ever rooted for the Lakers in my entire life.
I like the Lakers. Again, I'm not a big.
Like that they had South Shore colors. But at the end of the day, I only like that they had South Shore colors. But at the end of the day, I just feel as if this is competitiveness because you're not allowing other teams to compete. Now, granted, I really hope that an underdog takes them out.
You know, it'd be poetic justice.
Why are y'all trying to stop our Eastern Parkway parade? What is wrong with
Matt,
y'all?
wait, I have a question.
You know that the parade will not be on Eastern Parkway, right?
It could be.
You know that, right?
It'll be on Eastern Parkway.
It'll be on Wall Street. It will not be on Eastern Parkway.
We're not crossing that bridge.
Like, what's wrong with
not?
you?
We are our own borough. We are not crossing that bridge to go to no Manhattan.
Bro, every team that wins the championship has to go through the Canyon of Heroes.
Yeah, it's called New York. This is called Brooklyn. We staying in that borough. That's what I'm saying. The New York Giants, the New York Yankees. No,
that's the Canyon of Heroes. You see the Team USA when the women's soccer team won. Where did they go? Canyon of Heroes.
I don't even know where that's at.
Broadway.
Anyway, quick question, right? We talked about New York basketball.
Did you say Broadway? Canyon of Heroes. I don't be paying attention.
We talked about New York basketball. You two, all three of us were heavy Knicks fans in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about how we see New York basketball. Is Brooklyn Nets how we see New York basketball?
No.
The Knicks are playing like New York basketball,
yes.
honestly.
Right.
The Knicks are the closest thing to it, and I feel as if they're going to go through woes before they get it together. But I feel as if they are leaps and bounds ahead of where a lot of people thought they would be, and I called it from the beginning of the season before they even touched down.
I didn't see it. You're right.
I did because I feel like
they called it, and I was like, yeah, maybe, yeah.
No, that's what I didn't see it. I'm like, nah. Now we know Julius Randle.
I know what Thibodeau could do.
Yeah.
Because I know what Thibodeau could do. You get what I'm saying? I've seen what he did with the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
And I never doubted Tibbs. It was the contract they gave Julius Randle. I'm like, what are they doing? So that's what I was like. I'm like, what is going on? And then like, because I didn't have that much. I've seen Julius Randle on the Lakers and on the Pelicans. So I've seen him play. I'm like, he all right. Yeah, I think he's worth that contract that he got. I'm wrong. I admit Julius Randle is playing to his contract. I was wrong. I didn't have I had faith in Tibbs. I didn't have faith in Julius Randle. Right now. Yeah, you're right. 100% right. So I can admit I was wrong on that front. But Tibbs, I know what comes out of Tom Thibodeau and his playing style. Defense is strong. And that's always been New York basketball, defense. It's a hard working like play style, and that strives on your defense. And they have been playing great defense.
Let me tell you something. The Nets are looking scary, yes. Mm-hmm. But they still are struggling with defense.
Yeah.
It's going to be a problem in the playoffs.
Not in the East, though.
Absolutely in the East.
Absolutely
in the East, bro.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like
Philly's at full strength. Even we get on Milwaukee, Miami, who's figuring it out. They have the team to slow down Brooklyn. Miami, out of everybody, have the perimeter players to put on everybody.
Yeah.
To slow down Brooklyn.
Last year,
slow them down or beat them.
Last year,
you slow them down, you beat them.
If you slow them down, you beat them.
You're not going to beat them.
If you slow them down, you beat them. That was always my problem with KD. You slow KD down and you beat him. And you know the thing is, speaking of, he is so injury prone, like a mofo too. But at the end of the day, you slow them down under that D'Antoni Nash type of style and play, that run them, gun them defense. Harden is not a good defensive player to me. I'm sorry.
He's not a good or great defender, but he can play defense.
It's not that he can't play defense. You're supposed to play defense. I hate when we say, "Well, he can play defense."
Certain teams don't have to play great defense to win.
I can't eat a dozen of donuts by myself, but does that mean that I'm expected to do that? Like, come on, let's be real here.
Yeah.
But, all right, my point is the top defense team in the league right now is what? Is who? The Knicks, right? It's the Knicks.
It's the Knicks, the Lakers, and Utah.
All right, and where's the Lakers at, and where's the Knicks at in the standings? They're not winning.
The Lakers are injured.
I'll give you the Lakers name, but the Knicks are not. They're not.
The Knicks are almost tied for like fourth in the division.
Okay, and they played the Nets, and the Nets smacked them.
The Nets did not.
The Nets did not smack them.
When I mean smack them, meaning like they could not stop. They could not stop that team.
The refs gave the Knicks were going to win that game.
The Nets did not stop
the
that
Nets should be embarrassed. The Nets should be ashamed of themselves.
Why should they be ashamed? They won. Why should they be ashamed? They won. Why should they be ashamed if they won?
What game? Did you watch the game?
Why should they be ashamed if they won?
Did you watch the game?
It wasn't nothing like that UConn game. It wasn't nothing like that UConn game. So don't say like they should be ashamed.
No, I know you didn't watch it. No, I know
they should not be ashamed for a win.
You know how I know you didn't watch the game?
How?
Because you would have seen the fact that it was the referee's fault. Why the Nets got scared.
So now we blame the referee for the Nets.
No, it's true. The referee.
That one call is the reason why they lost the game.
Dre, hold on.
That one call is the reason why they lost the game.
Hold on, Dre. The next
you answer the question. That one call is the reason they lost the game.
You don't even know what questions I'm about to ask.
I just asked you a question.
Dre. Did the referee did or did not come out and say that they called two of the wrong calls during the fourth quarter of that game?
Yes, in the 2-minute report at the end of the game, they said it was two bad calls basically at the end.
That did what?
Well, they played Monday. We'll see what's up.
That did what?
It cost them the game.
Okay.
The Nets were in the lead most of that game, and they let the Knicks come back.
Then. So that's what I'm saying. Why would you sit there and say those two calls cost them the game?
Because the Knicks were supposed.
They were leading the whole game.
And
I hate when people make comments about things they didn't watch. Next. You didn't watch the game. I did.
Cut it out.
You're gonna win that game.
So
you can lead the.
You gotta keep the same energy when they play on Monday.
What do you mean? You can lead
they play Monday.
Keep that same energy when the next
I will.
Bounced out the playoffs in the second round.
If they win, I want to see your attitude if they win. If they win the whole thing, I want to see your energy.
They're not winning the whole thing.
But if they do, I want to hear.
The whole thing.
So what's the bet? If they
Miami got something for their ass.
If they win the whole thing, what is the bet?
They're not winning the whole thing.
If they win the whole thing, what is the bet?
I'm not a betting woman.
All right then.
You're not saying that. You're not saying that much.
All right then.
You're not saying that much.
You stand strong to it. You stand strong to the Nets is not going. You stand strong to the. You stand strong. You making it seem like the Nets is not coming out the East. Is that your final assessment? They're not coming out the East?
No.
They're not coming out the East? All right. We're going to get back to this.
I said that. Hold on.
We're definitely going to get back to this.
I'm a proponent of keeping the same energy. And you can go back episode after episode after episode when we were talking about the beginning of the season, even when Harden got there, right? Mm-hmm. This reminds me so much of when Karl Malone and Gary Payton joined the LA Lakers. This reminds me so much of that.
Out of that prom? Are you serious?
Reminds me so much of that year.
How is that the same thing?
This reminds me so much of that. Everybody thought that the Lakers was going to ragtag over everything, and the Pistons had something for that ass.
I didn't think they was going to ragtag through anything.
You was one of the Pistons was such a significant underdog.
I didn't think the Pistons was going to beat them, but I didn't think that they was going to ragtag through everybody. Not because they got Karl Malone. You serious?
And Gary Payton too.
I like Gary Payton. I know what Gary Payton is capable of doing. Karl Malone, I didn't have no faith in.
Oh no, the Miami had the same.
I'm being 100.
Miami had the same GP that the Lakers had, and Miami won the championship.
Exactly. I didn't have no faith in no Karl Malone.
But I do like.
I didn't. Not in that stage of his career.
Thing to beating
that Karl Malone wasn't the same Utah Jazz Karl Malone.
Yeah, but they still had Kobe. They still had Kobe. They still had Kobe, and they still had
Kobe that was going through the trial. You serious?
Nobody told him that to do that. That's on him.
The point that you said that everybody was thinking that they were going to ragtag to it. I didn't think that.
Johnny Hanson do all that nonsense during the summer. That's on him. He got the trial. So you're not going to compete because you got a trial?
So tell me, you saying that you really have faith that was the same Karl Malone from the Utah Jazz in the 90s?
It's not about that, but that's what I'm
you
saying.
It's the same thing. You're saying it's like
to me, it feels like the same thing.
It is nowhere close to the same thing.
Bro, at the end of the day,
Karl Malone is not James Harden and Kyrie Irving.
The Nets are going to get embarrassed in the playoffs in the second round, period.
I hope. All right.
And I've said that since day one.
All right. We're going to get back to this.
Let me tell you something. Let me
tell you something.
We are forgetting Jimmy Butler almost took by him, hobbled ass Jimmy Butler almost took down the Lakers last year. Okay?
How?
I watched. What?
Matt,
How?
did you not watch all the games?
Did you not watch the series?
Jimmy Butler. You said Jimmy Butler by himself was going to beat the Lakers in a 7
Who did he have?
series.
Nobody showed up last. Nobody
So they
showed
don't
up.
say that Jimmy Butler by himself was going to take down
Bro,
the Lakers.
nobody
Don't
showed
say
up
that.
with him.
All
Nobody
right, but
showed up
so
with
then
him.
you're saying what I'm
Nobody
saying.
showed up with
He
him.
was not beating the Lakers
Bro,
by himself. What are you talking about?
Look at that Miami Heat team, right?
I looked at him.
Right?
I looked at him.
They took the Lakers to 6 games. And the only reason why they didn't push him to 7, because Jimmy Butler couldn't take no more, because he was carrying that team on his back. Okay? Now, you mean to tell me that the Miami Heat or the Philadelphia 76ers, right, that have veteran coaches at the helm with veteran players that play defense, do not pose a threat to that Brooklyn Nets team?
You saying beat them. Are they going to beat them? You're making it seem like they're the favorites. They are not the favorites.
I'm going to step out on a limb. I'm going to say, and I'm going to take my pick from last year, Miami Heat is going to come out the East and go to the finals. This is my pick.
I think so.
This is my pick.
All right.
I think so. And they look better this year than they did last year, to me.
I can see where you coming from, Matt, in terms of Brooklyn and how powerful they are. Nobody's disagreeing with that.
Don't get caught up on that.
Nobody's disagreeing.
I'm not barring injury, I don't see no team in the East beating them. You're like,
that's
I don't
the problem.
That.
And that's one of the Nets always problems. They're always injured. Regardless.
Kevin Durant is injured. That's it. A hamstring.
That's a big deal.
I hear you. It is a big deal. I'm not saying
big deal.
How we know Kyrie not gonna take a day off?
Y'all dragging that. Yo. That's what I'm saying. Y'all doing too much with that.
I'm
not saying you in general.
I was joking.
Let me tell you something. When you look at the standings, the 76ers are only a half game behind the Nets. So don't make it seem as if
they were won the whole. They've been won.
It doesn't matter.
The only reason why the Nets are even won right now is because Embiid was hurt. That's it. Other than that, the Sixers will still be winning, and they still would have had the top spot.
What I'm saying,
we know that
the Nets are not far and wide the scariest team in the East. They have some of the scariest players, but their players are very erratic. They are not consistent.
Y'all are y'all really using like personal shit from like other teams and stuff.
Not personal.
Like,
me personally.
So they've been playing erratic this season. Have they been playing erratic this season? Have they been playing erratic this season?
I know what.
Have they been playing erratic this season?
I think so.
How?
They haven't looked scary to me. Not to me.
Without KD, they smacked the top 5 teams in the West.
Okay.
Without KD, they did that.
Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter right now to me. It doesn't matter to me right now.
I don't see erratic. I don't see
erratic at all.
I see some inconsistencies. I don't see erratic, but that's an agree to disagree thing right there. I don't see erratic. I just see inconsistent. But that's been my biggest thing with Brooklyn most of the year in general. So, but we have to move forward into our last topic of the day, which I'm sure is going to be fireworks. Sorry about that. Okay. KD, Michael Rappaport. There was some DMs leaked. Unfortunately, it got crazy. It got too crazy where KD said a lot of stuff. He was fined by the league. He also brought up Michael Rappaport.
KD talk a whole lot of shit for somebody whose hairline is never together. But let me go ahead to let me be quiet.
So, with that being said,
you look like that peasy boy from 7th grade that always talk crap, but can't back up what he say. He makes me sick. His peasy self.
Where is that coming? All right, good. Wow.
So, Mr.
His peasy self.
Mr. Brooklyn Matt.
Nah, don't. Why I got to start? Why I got to start?
Because I started with
the last segment.
I started to tell you the last one.
Lord Jesus. All right.
So,
let me get my pen.
Mr.
What pen?
I don't know.
Because I'm going to take notes of the stuff that you're saying right now.
Mr.
We talked about it already.
But the fans have not heard us talk about it. Again, Mr. Brooklyn Matt.
What's up?
What are your thoughts on the whole situation, and how should it have been handled differently?
How it should have been handled differently is you got to watch what you say. That's great.
I almost put you two on screen again like I did the face-off, but I'm like, nah, because y'all just going to start yelling at each other.
We are going to yell at each other. I already know we kind of went back and forth with this already in the group chat, so I already know we're at odds on it. I'm not saying what KD did was right, because it's not, and threatening somebody's wife is beyond off limits. Like I don't agree with that at all, but I feel like only KD got heat for it. I don't agree with Michael Rappaport putting personal stuff out in public like that, especially if they're having their own.
What personal stuff he put in public?
Why you showing DMs between you and him going back and forth, and you not posting what you saying? You only posting what he's saying.
He posted what they both said.
He didn't post the whole conversation. You and me both know he didn't. No, he did not. Stop. Look, it's easy just to attack people that you don't like and you already have an affinity for, you really don't care for. It's good.
We're not playing that.
We all go peasy head. You just said peasy head.
Yeah, he's peasy.
All right, then. So you clearly feel a way about him. So regardless, you won't be on the offside of this anyway.
Comments that he said a few years ago that I didn't post it to our page. Dre found it and posted it about not liking super teams. But guess where he is? Guess what he's doing? Keep the same energy. He has a nasty reputation of talking too much. Kevin Durant.
All right, and what's different? We've already known that. This not nothing new.
The thing is, you're mature now. You know
what I'm saying? You're
veteran now. No,
you're expecting him to be mature now. You're expecting him to be certain ways.
He's not for what he said.
He's not going to.
That was a BS apology. He used very homophobic and racist language in that thing. We got to keep the same energy, Matt.
Because I am keeping the same energy.
If Michael Rappaport said to KD what KD said to Michael Rappaport, we'd be ready for him with pitchforks.
That's not all the way true.
It is true.
I've seen Michael Rappaport said wild crap before. That's not nothing new. About athletes. I've seen him say wild stuff. About athletes.
We say wild stuff about people all the time.
Exactly.
You can say wild stuff.
We say wild stuff all the time. I keep the same energy.
I could be mad about an athlete or something, and I could say how I feel without being homophobic, without being derogatory.
Is he coming out saying stuff about homosexuals? Is he coming out disrespecting homosexuals?
He did.
How? What did he say?
Hold on. Anytime you tell another man, right? When you're going off when it's a man going off against a man, and he just implies that he's doing something homosexual, you're being homophobic because you're implying that he's less of a man because he's doing something that only gay men are supposed to do. So you don't have to say certain.
And on a regular day, if we are not on this platform, on a regular day, if we are not on this platform, if we're on the street and we're just having a conversation, just us on the street, if we're talking, there's times that we'll come off saying certain things like that, and it's not taking a. You don't, but on a regular day,
when you are a face of a league and you're making millions of dollars, you have to watch what you say.
We're attacking him for staying true to who he is. He's not openly trying to disrespect.
Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? So you feel like he does not have to take responsibility?
He has to take responsibility.
He didn't take responsibility. He's sorry that other people saw it. He's not sorry at what he said.
Okay, but regardless, I'm saying he does have to take responsibility for what he said and what he did. But I do understand his side of the spectrum. It's not like he's not. It's not like he's openly trying to say, "Oh, I don't like gay people." Da 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 da. He's not doing that. He's having the conversation directly towards him.
Keep that same energy when things get leaked about white athletes that say things on the low about black people, right? Keep that same energy. I don't want to hear.
And this is the funny thing. And this is the funny.
I don't want to hear no
Matthew. I can say stuff like
Matthew X. I don't want to hear no Matthew Farrakhan. I don't want to hear it. I don't.
You don't never hear no Matthew Farrakhan nothing.
Yeah, you do. You
no,
do.
I don't.
You
no, I don't.
You do.
If you are openly trying to disrespect a group, then I'm saying something. But if I'm having a conversation,
disrespecting her on the low is better.
Man, yo, for real. If I was out on the street and I said something like "pause" and you're gonna attack me for that? You want to attack me for that?
That's different.
That's not different. It's the same avenue. It is literally the same avenue.
It's not cool to say
it is the same avenue. It is definitely the same avenue.
I'm trying to get the exact language that he used. Hold on.
It's the same avenue.
He called him a pale, pasty, guzzling. When you call another man that you know is straight, that word, what are you implying? You're implying what?
So if I was to call a random dude a B word, is that if I'm calling a random person a B word,
I'm not saying nothing about the B word.
It's the same avenue, Trey. Is what I'm telling you.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. First of all, he could have disrespected Michael Rappaport without, i.e., bringing his race into it. Because if Michael Rappaport had said, "Oh, you brown, this, and the third," he'd be canceled in a heartbeat. Let's keep the same energy. You can't be like BLM, Black Lives Matter, and we're gonna, go in arms if somebody offends somebody black, and then you use that type of language.
Offend them, meaning like you're openly trying to offend that group. That group.
How many times have athletes been caught saying things on the low?
Why I can't answer her question? Because I'm not allowed to answer her question.
Look how you're going to be a hypocrite in 5 seconds.
I'm not being a hypocrite.
Look how you're going to be a hypocrite in 5 seconds.
Why am I going to be a hypocrite?
A couple weeks ago, right, there was a coach who said something racially derogatory under his breath that did not mean to come out in the public.
And say, what did he say? And what did he say? Because he's openly getting at a group, Tay. A group. It's a group he's attacking.
You call somebody, so all right. So because I call you,
they kneel during the let me answer.
You were N-word.
Asking the question, I'm trying to answer, and you talking over it.
Yeah, because the thing is, you sound crazy.
But you're not letting me answer. You're not letting me answer, Tay.
Because at the end of the day,
you're not letting me answer. I'm saying
he's wrong.
I'm not wrong.
I want to go back to that tape when that guy said something under his breath.
And right? I'm trying to answer it. You're talking over it.
And you went in.
I went in. Why? Because of what he said.
That same energy.
To a group.
So you don't think to a group.
Making a stance.
Even if you put that
to a group making a stance to a political movement. That's why. Them having a back and forth argument.
So if it was one person saying that, it'd be okay.
I didn't say that.
Would that be okay?
I'm not saying that. You're talking over me. You're not even understanding what I'm saying.
No, because
you're not even trying to. You're not trying to understand anything.
No, because
you're not trying to understand anything.
I know what you're trying to say, and I'm not with it right now. No, you're not supposed to use language like that. Period.
All right, bro.
Period.
You ain't trying to hear nothing that I'm saying anyway.
No, because it's wrong.
All right, so don't ask me questions if you don't want me to answer.
I didn't ask you nothing.
You did. You definitely did.
What happened a couple of weeks ago when that white coach said this? And we was ready to go for him in March.
Not going for nothing. That's all
right. No problem.
Because you ain't trying to hear nothing anyway. It is what it is.
Because you're wrong, bro.
You're not even letting me try to prove my point. You talk over me every time I'm trying to prove my point. And then say it's not making no sense. You don't have it don't make sense because you're not allowing me to finish it. Regardless. It is what I'm good, bro. I'm good. You ain't trying to hear nothing anyway. You want to stand on your side and that's it. It's cool. I understand where you're going. KD is wrong. I got it. And I agree with you. KD is wrong. It is what it is.
Keep the same energy is all I'm saying.
Bro, I'm good with the energy. Go ahead, go.
And on the episode say another thing.
Go. Let's go.
Period. I'm not going to just go. I'm not going to just go.
You got it.
No, I know I got it because you.
All right. Yeah, because you're not going to let nobody else talk. You only going to have your point pulled across.
He's referring it to a group. So if it was one black woman kneeling, does that mean that, oh, I hate that nigger? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the same thing. You don't get it.
You ain't getting that. You don't want to get nothing outside your point.
KD was wrong, period.
And I said he was wrong. You're not trying to hear nothing else outside of that fact.
You mad that it got leaked.
No, I'm mad that you're not letting me get my point across. It is what it is.
KD called Michael Rappaport if he wanted to say that type of stuff. Anytime you put something in somebody's DM, you know how people are. You know how people are. He messed. This is all KD fault. This ain't Michael Rappaport fault. This is KD's fault.
It's both of their fault.
It's KD's fault.
It's both of their fault.
So to reel it in, Matt, what exactly are you trying to say about the situation?
I'm good. I don't even want to talk about it no more because regardless, it's going to get talked over anyway. So it is what it is. It is what it is. This is not nothing new. You ain't gonna, regardless. I can tell you my point, and you're gonna try to like twist what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Regardless, I did not once say that KD wasn't wrong. I said he was wrong. Okay, then. So you're not trying to hear nothing else outside of KD is wrong. Regardless, they're both wrong.
No, but you try to come at my character saying it's because
I did not come at your character.
You first said it's because I didn't like KD. That's the
wrong.
You came at.
You started off the segment. His peasy head. Okay, so you started off with that, Tay. You can't get mad that somebody's saying that. You started the segment saying that.
I'm not in my feelings.
You started the segment saying.
Yeah, but I talk about KD. You came at my character.
I'm gonna be good regardless, man.
You came
I'm not coming at your character, Tay. I'm saying you started the segment. His peasy head this.
Did I say something racist and derogatory?
I didn't say that you did.
Okay, so you first thought that because I felt like that because I didn't like KD. And A ain't got nothing to do with B. I want people to keep the same energy. That's all I'm asking for.
Regardless of the situation, you're gonna stick to your guns. You're not gonna hear nothing else that's being said because you feel how you feel about the situation. And that's cool. And what I can do in this dialogue between me and you, I can understand your point, and I agree with your point. But there's other aspects to that point too. Regardless, you're sitting there saying, I'm not keeping the same energy because I attacked what? A dude that got on live air, didn't know he was on live air, and said, look at these N-words kneeling down through the anthem. That's a group that he's attacking. He's openly attacking a group trying to make a movement statement. That's different from him having an argument with Michael Rappaport and he's attacking Michael Rappaport. He's not attacking homosexuals or white people. That's what I'm saying. Regardless, he's wrong for saying what he said, but he's not attacking white people or homosexuals. That's all I'm saying.
But his comments are still racist and his comments are still homophobic.
Okay, but I'm saying he's not attacking those groups.
So, yeah.
That's it.
That's
all I'm saying.
So what I'm getting out of this is that you guys virtually saying the same thing. Your wires are just crossing.
Exactly. And that's tight. You're not trying to hear nothing. You just going over what I'm saying. You're not allowing me to finish what I'm saying.
We're not saying the same thing. Because what I'm saying is we're not. The only reason why I'm saying we're not saying the same thing is because I'm still feeling as if KD's comments were homophobic and very offensive to a group of people. Because at the end of the day, that's why I don't get into internet conversations of beefs with people. Because you are what you post.
Agreed.
Okay? And KD did not apologize for using that offensive language because he thought, I'm just saying that to Michael Rappaport. Like that guy, he said, though, that's why I hate those N-words. He was referring to those women. You get what I'm saying? We have to keep the same. My thing is, we have to keep the same energy. He was completely out of line. Completely. Talking about another man's wife. You know what I'm saying? Talking about his skin color.
I started off with that.
Yeah, I know. Talking about his skin color. I'm just trying to think. If you put yourself in the shoes, if Michael Rappaport had said to KD what KD had said to Michael Rappaport would have been canceled.
If Michael Rappaport is openly attacking a group of being like just black people, in general, if he's attacking black people, pitchforks. If he's getting at KD and it's him going back and forth and it's like a street talk,
I would still be mad if he called him the N-word.
I'll answer this.
If he called him the N-word, definitely, yes.
In terms of what's been going on lately, in terms of this cancel culture thing, regardless of and I understand what you're saying, Matt, regardless of if Michael Rappaport was talking about a group of people or about one person, Michael Rappaport would have got canceled because of how it comes off. It comes off highly insensitive. I get both sides of it. I understand completely. There's a side of why you leaking this stuff, and there's the other side of why you saying that stuff. At the same token, you got to watch what you say. You just got to watch what you say. With everything highly sensitized right now, you got to watch what you say.
It's always going to be highly.
Everything is highly sensitized.
I hear you. But let me address the shine girl, right? So, all right. Again, I'm from Brooklyn, right?
What's the comment? You have to say the comment.
She says you can put it up. Okay?
Which one?
The last one she wrote.
Oh, okay.
No, he agrees, but he's backhanded, not agreeing because he feels it's kind of okay. No, I'm not saying what KD said is okay. Let's be clear. I'm not saying that it's okay. What I'm saying is, as far as this cancel culture thing, they'll spin it and say he's attacking a group of people instead of the one person that he's going back and forth with. So when I say stuff like, if I'm in the middle of an argument and I call a person a B word, or if I call them, I'm not necessarily saying I'm not necessarily attacking homosexuals.
You are though.
I'm not attacking homosexuals.
You don't see it that way. You don't see it that way. And
I don't see it that way because honestly, I don't have no problem. It's like saying that you have a problem with that group.
Yeah, but when you call somebody
with that group,
you call somebody right, you are negatively implicating.
I read the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying. You are using a derogatory type of way. You could be offensive without being derogatory. Even when you call somebody calling somebody is not the same thing as calling them an F word. You get what I'm saying? Because has a million different definitions, but F word has one. So I think what Shine was saying is how you're explaining the argument, right? That what she's saying is exactly how I was feeling.
But my thing is, not everybody's gonna look at it and view it that way, especially growing up in certain avenues. I've had back and forth with people when people call me out my name in certain groups, and I didn't take offense to it.
You're
Why?
Not $1 million player.
All right. So, but then goes back to what we were talking about last week. We can't always assume that these people are going to be LeBron. Everybody are their own individual people. Just because they got money don't mean that they're going to be that person that you expect them to be.
Right. It's not.
That's an assumption. I'm going to look at KD like he is who he is, and he's been showing who he is for years.
It's okay that he's homophobic. It's okay that he's homophobic and derogatory.
So, Taylor, my question to you is: do you think that Kevin Durant has something against homosexuals?
Yes, I do.
Why?
I do. Because this is not the first instinct. This is not the first instance I've heard of him making comments about people and using that type of language. You know better. I can be mad at Matt. I'm mad at you right now. Does that mean that I'm gonna call you? Does that mean I'm gonna call you? Oh well, he's acting like a F word. That means that I'm coming at your manhood, gay or not. You get what I'm saying? There's different. Just because you offend one person doesn't let you off the hook for offending a group of people.
That's like saying to just a little bit piggyback before we end the show. The thing is, if I'm in the street, me and you going back and forth, Matt, or I'm going back and forth with someone, I say, "Oh, you acting like an F word," and for whatever reason, a gay person walks by me, they're gonna feel offended.
Of course,
I wasn't directly talking to them, but because that word is associated with that, just like if somebody called a black dude the N-word and I'm walking by like, what are you doing? I would
jump right into that. Right. I would jump right into that conversation.
Right. Now, what I'm saying, what I get from Matt's point, again, there's a totally different side of seeing it.
Certain things get overblown, and that's the problem. That's what makes this culture so oversensitive. That's what I'm saying. Everything is not always what y'all take it to be. If y'all take it that way, then an apology needs to be had, and that's what I mean by. That's why I say I agree with what you said. Kevin Durant gave a weird apology that he didn't take accountability for what he said. But then again, there's aspects to what he said that I understood what he meant by it. Again, I grew up in a situation like when me and you had a conversation, and I was like, yo, if we was to have a conversation, I'm like, all right, I said something homosexual in a way, but I'm like, no, I'm like, pause, no homo. Now that's oversensitive.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, my sister made a good point to me because she's watching, right? Not everybody thinks that racism is bad, right? So if you call somebody an F word as an insult, it's implying that you see homosexuality as a bad thing. You're seeing homosexuality as something less than what it is. You're not going to get into an argument with somebody and be like, oh, you straight guy, you. Come on. We live in a different era right now.
And certain aspects of this era is oversensitive.
I don't feel like it's oversensitive.
I do.
I don't. When you have people dying over these words, Matt. People. Let me tell you something.
Hate crime.
Hold on.
I hear you. Not everything is made with hate, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can use a different term. Semantics are very important because at the end of the day, there's Asian people who are being murdered right now for just being Asian. You get what I'm saying? So the last thing they hear before they die is a derogatory term about their race. There have been gay people who are killed for being gay. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, the last thing they hear is the F word and a derogatory term. Even though it was personally directed to them, it was because of that. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't feel like you have a problem with homosexuals. I will never say that. But we have to be very, like, I don't want nobody around me who could say who could call me a and feel okay with that. But it's not the only derogatory term used to describe a black person. That doesn't mean as if when you say something like that, that doesn't make it any less offensive.
My thing is certain things, if it's being said, if certain language, I get the semantics. Like I said, I agree with everything that y'all are saying, and I understand what y'all are saying. But then I do know certain things is overblown. If it's not hate behind it, it can get overblown into something that is turned into hate, and it's not originally what is being put out. That's what I'm saying.
And we can't. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, finish.
And what I'm saying is, with the Kevin Durant situation, again, I'm not saying what he said is right. He's wrong. In all aspects of the term, he's wrong. But do I sit there and say, oh, him saying what he said, he does not like homosexuals or he doesn't like white people? No. But I know that with this culture and this era, it will turn into that. That's my problem.
You know better.
What?
You know better. Not you. You should know better too. There's certain time. Let me tell you something. We have to hold people accountable for the effed up things that they say. I don't care. The thing is, like I keep saying, if Michael Rappaport has said to Kevin Durant what Kevin Durant has said to him, we'd be having a completely different conversation right now. Completely. So the thing is, people need to, it's not good. One of the comments I saw is that I'm not responsible for what I say and this and the third. But I bet you if a white person came to your face and called you an N-word, right?
With hate behind it?
So he's supposed to say it with love behind it?
No, I'm saying like, meaning he's saying it in that.
And when I'm using, hold on, let me finish my point. I'm not, you cutting me. I'm not finished my point.
I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
There's no such thing as, I have plenty of white friends. That doesn't mean that they get to call me an N-word. They could love me to death. They don't get to call me an period.
I don't think it's about having hate behind it or not. A lot of these words have a bad history to them. If I went into a white neighborhood and the first thing they say to me is, whether they like black people or not, I'm taking it offensive. Just like if I'm walking around the village and I'm with my best friend who's gay, if somebody calls her the F word, she's taking it offense, regardless of if they like gay people or not.
Exactly.
I totally, again, Matt, I don't want you to think I don't get you or I'm doubling down.
It's
but
cool.
yes, it's definitely, but yes,
the conversation needs to be had. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Because again,
it's two sides. It's two sides of it. It's definitely two sides of it. But in our current culture, we understand how highly sensitized words and actions are, and that's pretty much it. So, great episode, guys. Shout out to the Jobber Kids Network. They're having a WrestleMania viewing party night 1 and night 2. So make sure you're there. Shout outs to the voice of generation, Pete Rosado. Thank you for being doing whatever you do and giving us quick hits today.
Those quick hits was longer than usual.
No, because I kept pausing it.
You just got to fix that hair. I'm not agreeing with
you. Got that bang.
Like I mean, I get you happy, bro. I'm happy for you. Jeez. And you realize we cursed. You know we cursed through this, right?
I'm not editing nothing because there's a part of it where everything makes sense, and we'll talk after the show. But for BK Matt, for the voice of the generation, Pete Rosado, for the Queen K, this is your boy Big Baby signing off. Peace.